All right, y'all. It's Sunday. Let's pay the piper. I know I kind of did some not too swift things yesterday. So let's see what the results are. 165.6. Yeah, could be a lot worse, Hey there. So I just want to give you a heads up. So my weight today was 165.6. Last week it was 164.9. So I'm up 0.7 pounds. It's all right. It's all right. After my binge yesterday, it's not a shocker. Y'all, I've done so much writing over the past few years, my pen died. I had to use the pen that's offered in the pew. Well, in the seat in front of me. Anyway, hang on. It's always hot at Mom's house. That's why I have to wear like a something long sleeve to church because it's cold, and short sleeve to Mom's house because she has her thermostat set on like 95. Anyway, so he said we're finishing up the series that we've been doing with about Moses, and editing. Terri, put a new pen with your book because I hate using the ones that are in the daily. So the topic today was about leaving a legacy. He said, what will people remember about us? We need to decide now. What happens when we're gone, how people will remember us. So Moses' lasting legacy was investing in the Lord's people. From those people came the Messiah. So number one, there's three principles of a lasting legacy. One, legacy is built on faithfulness. And then A, Deuteronomy 34, 1 through 5. Then Moses went up from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo to the top of, Pisgah, which faces Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land. Gilead as far as Dan, all of Naphtali, the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, all the land of Judah as far as the Mediterranean Sea, the Negev, and the plain in the valley of Jericho, the city of Psalms as far as Zoar. The Lord said to him, "This is the land I promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I will give it," he said, quote, "I will give it to your descendants." So that's what he told Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He says, "I have let you," talking about Moses, "see it with your own eyes, but you will not cross into it." So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the Lord's word. He said it kind of seems unfair, but Moses did not follow God's instructions. God told him to speak to the rock, but Moses was so aggravated that instead he struck the rock, and he said something to the effect of, "If I strike this rock and we will bring out water, not God." So he was kind of taking credit for it. And so God later said to him, "Because you did not trust me to demonstrate my God's holiness, I will bring you, but you will not enter." So Moses, he lost his character, and then there was consequences of his actions. But God still blesses people for our calling, but not always our character. Okay. God blesses people for our calling, but but not always our characters. So Moses was not able to go in, but his legacy was about faithfulness, not perfection. He said, we all have regrets, and we don't live oh, now I know why she had that bug spray out. I hear wasps over there. We all have regrets, and nobody can live their life without regrets. Only God's, and so he talked about all the different religions, and he said, only God says to learn from people who have flaws. God has never abandoned anyone, or God has never had anyone but sinners to work with. He said a saint is not someone who hasn't fallen. And then saint is not someone who has not fallen. So, but we look up, and then we get up, confess, repent, and get up. So we don't just fall and then lay in the dirt and dwell on it. The devil says, stay down. You already failed once or twice, or in, our weight loss, you've failed 100 times. You're not going to make it again. You've committed your sin of the past over and over. You're never going to make it past that. But God is not looking for perfection. He's looking for faithfulness. The Bible even labeled Moses as a servant of God, even though he had done things. So he was faithful, and he continued to worship. And we need to be faithful and worship even when life is not good. And even when it is good, we need to be faithful. Faithful is being love, and faith. When you have faithfulness, there's love and promise. God, we need to be faithful and love and promise God even in the desert. Maybe it's a promise of God even when they're in their desert. As long as we're faithful, God will love us. Sorry, I scribble fast. Moses was faithful, and God does not chase perfection. We should not chase perfection. We should chase faithfulness. So number 2, another principle of lasting legacy is legacy lives in the people you pour into. So, where's number 2? Where'd it go? Number two. So Moses poured into God's people. His life wasn't about him. So for us, life isn't all about us. It's about pouring into others. And it talked about, even Paul said, God considered Paul faithful, even though he was a prosecutor and a blasphemer. In Numbers 27:15-18. So Moses appealed to the Lord. May the Lord, the God who gives breath to all, appoint a man over the community who will go out before them and come back in before them, and who will bring them out and bring them in, so that the Lord's community won't be like sheep without a shepherd. So this was after God told Moses he wasn't going to go in. The Lord replied to Moses, take Joshua, son of Nun, a man who has a spirit in him, and lay your hands on him. And Pastor talked about how Joshua was with Moses, and every time they talked about Moses, Joshua was there. And Joshua, the Battle of Jericho, and but anyway, so he talked. So everywhere you saw Joshua or Moses, Joshua was hanging out with him. So where am I at? That was B. So Moses was thinking about the people, not himself, whenever he was telling God, please send somebody with them, because these people go near, and they complain the whole time. God, send them somebody. And he talked about how legacy doesn't happen at the end of our life. At the tail end of our life. It needs to happen every single day. Like right now, today, he said, whether you're 10, whether you're 18, whether you're 50, 60, 80, your legacy needs to start. We need to start working on our legacy now. So another principle of a lasting legacy is legacy extends beyond your lifetime. So it happens continuously, even after we're gone. So in Deuteronomy 34:10-12, no prophet, this is what God said about Moses, flaws and all. Remember, he murdered somebody. He went and hid out for 40 years. He smacked the rock. So Moses wasn't perfect. But this is what God said about Moses. No prophet has arisen again in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. He was unparalleled for all the signs and wonders the Lord sent to him to do against the land of Egypt, to Pharaoh, to all his officials, and to all his land. And for all the mighty acts of power and terrifying deeds that Moses performed in the sight of Israel. So according to God, no prophet has arisen again in Israel like Moses. So Proverbs 13, verse 22, a good man leaves an inheritance to his grandchildren, but the sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. So, in other words, a sinner stores up. No, how's that go? A good man leaves in, wait a minute, I think he talked about it. Hang on. Oh yeah. So in other words, the greatest inheritance isn't money or possessions. It's faith, a life of faithfulness and integrity. So those are the things we want to pass on to our grandchildren. Those are the wealth that is stored for the righteous. It's faith, faithfulness, and integrity. And then the big takeaway, live today in such a way that people, not possessions, will tell our story. Good character is better than a tombstone. Good character is the best tombstone. Then the challenge is to think about 3 people today that we can invest ourselves into and help. If we can't think of 3 names, we're supposed to pray daily for someone to show up in our life daily for us to invest in. So that's church today. And yeah, our church is always in the description of my videos. So you can go there and see the actual service. I do not do it justice. I just do my interpretation to share with you all. All right. I'll see you later with Judy. Bye. So we are at a Mexican place. I got my girl Judith Ann with me. And I'm going to get the Jalisco special is what I'm going to get. So this is the Jalisco special. It's meat and fajita veggies with some cheese sauce poured over it. I just asked them to hold the rice. And then Mom's got a taco salad. And yes, I've eaten a few chips. She has bees out there, and they stung her the other day. Get him. Oh, get him, Judy. Squirt him.
I'm trying.
You're not squirting very good. There, you might have got him.
Yeah, well, they don't have to. Hopefully they'll go off and die anyway.
Yep. That's my girl. That's my girlfriend. That's my buddy right
Remember
there.
the pool out there?
Uh-huh. That's my pal right there. She said has a friend coming to town, a female friend, so no boys. Anyway, and so she said her friend likes to sit out and have coffee in the mornings, and so she's trying to clean these up so she and her friend can sit out. And well, Mom don't drink coffee, but her friend can drink coffee, and Mom can drink tea. Did you see that lady? She stuck her tongue out of me. She's a hot mess, but anyway, she's got a sting on her arm, so she's trying to be careful right now. Dude. I ate the chips. Sometimes it makes me frustrated that I've cleaned everything up to where I can tell when I've eaten something that I shouldn't. My heart is boom, 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 boom. 70 right now. Earlier, it was like in the 90s. I was at Mom's and I was just having hot flashes and kind of a little on the dizzy side. Not dizzy, but have you ever been on a ride at the fair that goes around and around? And when you get off, it's not about being dizzy, but it's that motion nausea, the motion sickness, that little bit of nausea that you get. I was having some of that motion sickness, nausea, but I wasn't spinning. And so yeah, it's funny that old Terri, she ate all that stuff all the time and a lot of it. I will guesstimate that I had about 12 chips. And so it's just funny that when I do something like that it's like, man, I feel bad. Like not mentally, but physically. Like I don't have no hashtag regrets. It's just, ugh. So I'm pouring on the water. I'm pouring on the water. And just getting back down to business. I didn't do too bad at Mom's house. I had one, a couple, like a tablespoon of nuts, only one time. The saving grace is that she needs them because a friend is coming to her house on Wednesday from out of town. So had I not known that, I might have gone back a few times. But anyway, and then I had some cheese. Not a big deal. I had some tomatoes. I did have a bite of her peanut butter. I'm like, well, if I can't have the nuts, I'm going to get a bite of peanut butter. Is that kind of I ran to Aldi. I got gas this morning and I ran to Aldi and I thought, I got some Egg Life wraps. Like we had kind of talked about in the comments. If I'm going to eat something that's terrible, like binge, it could be these Egg Life wraps. They're like 20, 30 calories. This one is the garlic and herb. With the chicken and apple. I don't have any mustard or anything on it. But half a piece of cheese. I wanted to make my own cowboy caviar. So this has, I don't know, it might be hit or miss. It's okay. I think Mom's is sweeter. But Mom uses Zesty Italian. And I used Skinny Girl balsamic vinegar and then some sesame ginger. And then it's got soybeans, corn, fire roasted tomatoes, some rotel, and some onion. And then, so anyway, hang on, I'm gonna do this way. I left the macros for that in the kitchen. I'm gonna make a video about it. Is it the best thing in the world? No. Is it something random and fun? Yeah. So I'm having those. And then this, I'm calling it black soybean and corn pico de gallo. That's what I'm calling it. That's what I'm calling it. And I'm having a salad. I didn't put any tomatoes on here, but that's fine. I have some seasonings on here and my dressing. Oh. People ask me about using cabbage. This cabbage has been in this thing for a week and it's still crunchy. I've had it last me 14 days before. So using cabbage, it lasts a long time. And then final thing is this is the pumpkin spice caramel pumpkin spice keto chow. That's good. What I need to do is so I've got a couple more. I should make one into another creamer because that worked really well. Well, it's not really a creamer because I don't add any milk to it or anything, but it's just basically a protein shake with water. So the powder with water, and then I put that in my coffee. But I can have it shook up, so then all of the powder is dissolved, and I'm not putting just like a little teaspoon of the powder into my coffee. But anyway, I got a video about that. I have a playlist called Keto Chow. So I'm trying to just kind of put all the things that I play around with Keto Chow into that playlist. So, all right, you guys, I'm done talking. Like I said, I just feel kind of, it's my own fault. Nobody's fault but my own. It's my own fault. So, but I'm going to get on with this and watch a little YouTube and chug this water so I can get back to feeling better. Like I said, it's kind of a double-edged sword knowing having this feeling after I eat bad. It's like, but because it's a reminder to not eat bad. But then it's also like, man, how did I eat this stuff all the time? I mean, I know you build up a tolerance. I get that. But it's like, so it's my own fault. Nobody did it to me. So, all right. Love you all. Bye.